Welcome to The Toughest Indian in the World Final Project by your humble host and narrator, Juan Diego Rueda. Before we start, do take into account that I am currently sick, so my voice may sound harsher than usual. Alright, let's get this started. Thematic analysis. Sherman Alexie uses both symbolism and word choice to show that fraternal love is limitless and it is always accompanied by someone who cares for you. Right, so why the ramp? Why is it a symbol? What does it represent? Actually, the main character of the story, One Good Man, mentions this ramp multiple times, and the way in which he refers to it, what he says whenever he mentions it, that's the important part for this thesis. Right, so here are some examples. They were building a wheelchair ramp for my father, who was coming home from the hospital with no more than 6 months to live, according to most of his doctors, and as little as 2 weeks left, according to the others. The other example is they were building a wheelchair ramp for my father, who was coming home because he didn't want to die in the hospital. These two quotes prove that the main character has he truthfully cares for his father. He's preoccupied about him. There is this unmeasurable love that he has for him that makes him relate this wheelchair ramp like any object to his current state, and well, the way in which he talks about him um, does show that he truly is preoccupied for him. Right, on the part of word choice, there is this moment when the main character's father is weakened. He's puking soup, and from far away it looks like it's blood. So the main character hurries towards him, and when he notices that it's just soup, he starts cleaning his father's body because he is unable to because his father is unable to do so. So on the part of word choice, here we have the father saying to the son, "You shouldn't have to do this," he said, his voice cracking. "You're not a nurse." And the son thinks to himself, um, what is an Indian? Is it a son who had always known where his father kept his clothes in military stacks? He then narrates his actions. "I pulled a t-shirt over my father's head. I slipped a pair of boxer shorts over his bandaged legs and up around his waist." Right, so this quote shows that fraternal love is capable of overcoming any kind of situation. So, like for example, his father mentioning that he is not a nurse contributes to certain sexual stereotypes, but the son doesn't mind at all. He doesn't really give that in any kind of importance. He ignores it, and he's just worried for his father, and he's just like thinking about helping him. So it is limitless, and it is um, unmeasurable, the kind of love that these two have between each other. There is another event with word choice that says that is about when the main characters no when the father's mother died. Yeah, so they are in the funeral in the mother of the main character's father's funeral. All right. Um. So it says, I thought about my mother's funeral and how my father had climbed into the coffin with her, and how we, the stronger and weaker men of the family, had to pull him out screaming and kicking. I wonder if there was some kind of vestigial organ inside all of us that collected and stored our grief. Alright, so this emphasizes that the fraternal love, not only between father and mother, or son and father, um, that just like the family as a whole structure, um, is truly like it just simply cannot be measured. It just doesn't have. There is no way to put a limit to it. All right. So those are the reasons why Sherman Alexie uses both the symbolism from the wheelchair ramp and the word choice from these two events to show that fraternal love is limitless and it is always accompanied by someone who cares for you. Next up, we have character connections. So here we have Marilyn from from the chapter Assimilation, and well, the main character from One Good Man. All right, um, they are connected by this thought about like what is an Indian. So here we have um, through their way of thinking, through the way that Sherman Alexie portrays the way they think and how these two ways of thinking relate to each other in one term, proves that both self-awareness and retrospection make an important part of every person's life. All right, so they think about their Indian identity. They have gone somehow away from it, or they are just thinking like considering analyzing what an Indian is, be it, and they come up with different solutions and statements. So like be it reconnecting with their Indian roots through carnal relations, or using statements that don't really that relate to the current actions and that show a certain reflection. Um, they these two characters mm, make a great like the way they think about their Indian roots. Now they have to reconnect to them, or what an Indian is, make they make part of self-awareness and retrospection because they are considering how their lives have been, or the way in which their thought process has affected their um, Indian heritage, or like the way they defined an Indian. So this is the reason why these two characters way of thinking and about Indian, about well the term Indian can be related and connected to show that Sherman Alexie uses both of them to show that, well, no, to highlight that um, both self-awareness and retrospection make an important part of every person's life.